Good evening. Welcome to the first annual and first ever virtual Middle East and North Africa Summit World Tour. I'm your English MC, Anushka.
وأنا جوانا مضيفتكم العربية. نحن متحمسون لأنكم معنا اليوم في أول جولة افتراضية سنوية على الإطلاق في منطقة الشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا Summit World Tour.
This year, Girl Up is hosting a series of World Tour summits leading up to the first day of the Girl Up Leadership Summit. Don't forget to register and join the Girl Up Leadership Summit on July 13th to hear from amazing speakers like Malala Yousafzai, UN Deputy Secretary General Amina J. Mohammed, youth climate change activist Vanessa Nakate, and many more. To register, go to girlup.org.
تستضيف Girl Up هذا العام سلسلة من مؤتمرات القمة العالمية للجولات التي تسبق اليوم الأول من قمة قيادة الفتيات. لا تنسوا التسجيل والانضمام إلى قمة قيادة الفتيات في 13 يوليو للاستماع إلى متحدثين رائعين مثل ملالا يوسافزاي، نائبة الأمين العام للأمم المتحدة أمينة محمد، الناشطة الشبابية في مجال تغير المناخ فانيسا ناكت وغيرهم الكثير. للتسجيل يوجد الذهاب إلى girlup.org.
Before we dive into our summit, let's hear from Girl Up's Executive Director, Melissa Kilby.
قبل أن نتعمق في قمتنا، دعونا نسمع من ميليسا كيلبي المديرة التنفيذية لGirl Up.
Welcome to the 2021 Girl Up Leadership Summit Tour in the Middle East and North Africa. We're so excited to kick off our first ever Leadership Summit Tour around the world. We are taking the time to visit 6 regions in 6 days, all ahead of the Global Summit, to hear from young leaders, activists, and changemakers making a difference in their communities. This is day 4, and we're talking about the amazing strides women are making in the region, defying stereotypes in STEM, sports, and entertainment careers. I hope you enjoy the conversation, and don't forget to tune in to our Global Leadership Summit July 13th and 14th, where we're bringing together leaders like you to be a force for social good around the world. When girls rise, we all rise.
Thank you, Melissa, for that kickoff message. It's always great to hear from you. For the next hour, we will be here to guide you through what we hope will be a life-changing experience for each one of you.
في الساعة القادمة سنكون هنا لإرشادكم خلال ما نأمل أن يكون تجربة تغير حياة كل واحد منكم.
You. Why, oh, you are the reason Girl Up puts events like these on. They want you to be inspired and gain tools to be change makers in your community.
أنت هي سبب قيام Girl Up بوضع مثل هذه الأحداث. إنهم يريدونك أن تكوني مصدر إلهام واكتساب الأدوات اللازمة لتكوني صانعة التغيير في مجتمعك. هذا ما تدور حوله Girl Up. يتعلق الأمر بالاجتماع مع الفتيات في جميع أنحاء العالم للعمل معا ودعم بعضنا البعض في حركتنا لتحقيق المساواة بين الجنسين. لا يمكنني أن أكون أكثر حماسة لوجودي هنا اليوم في أول قمة افتراضية لجولة الشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا الافتراضية لGirl Up. مع 250 مشارك. هناك 42 دولة ممثلة من جميع أنحاء العالم وبالأخص من الشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا هذا المساء.
That is what Girl Up is about. It is about coming together with girls across the world to work together and support one another in our movement to achieve gender equality. I could not be more excited to be here today at Girl Up's first virtual MENA World Tour Summit with 250 participants registered. There are 42 countries represented from across MENA and across the globe this evening.
نعلم أن لكل واحدة منكم سبباً شغوفاً لوجودكم معنا هنا اليوم. لهذا السبب طوال هذا المساء نركز على التعلم من بعضنا البعض ودعم بعضنا البعض من خلال قصصنا القوية.
We know that each one of you has a passionate reason for being with us here today. That is why, throughout this evening, we are focused on learning from each other and supporting one another in sharing our own powerful stories.
قبل أن نبدأ حان الوقت لوضع حدود سريعة. تتبع Girl Up سياسة عدم التسامح مطلقاً مع التنمر والتمييز. إذا حدث شيء يجعلك غير مرتاحة، يرجى التحدث إلى أحد موظفي Girl Up من خلال الدردشة معهم في On 24.
Before we jump in, it's time for some quick boundary setting. Girl Up has a zero tolerance policy on bullying and discrimination. If something happens that makes you uncomfortable, please talk to a Girl Up staff member by chatting them in On24. If you feel uncomfortable going to a staff member in person, there's an anonymous box at the virtual help desk that you can use to share your concerns.
إذا كنت تشعري بعدم الارتياح للذهاب إلى أحد الموظفين شخصياً، فهناك مربع مجهول في مكتب المساعدة الافتراضي يمكنك استخدامه لمشاركة مخاوفك. الآن لبعض التدبير المنزلي السريع. في On24 ستجدين أيضاً برنامج قمة الشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا مكتملاً بالسير على المتحدثين، ويمكننا أن نؤكد أنك سترغبين في قراءة السير بعد سماعهم يتحدثون.
Now for some quick housekeeping. In On24, you'll also find a MENA Summit program complete with bios on our speakers. And we can assure you'll want to read their bios after you hear them speak.
إذا لم تكوني قد قمت بذلك بالفعل، فتأكدي من إلقاء التحية على الحاضرين الآخرين في القمة في صالة الدردشة.
If you haven't already, make sure to say hi to the other summit attendees in the chat lounge.
الهاشتاج الرسمي للقمة هو هاشتاج girlslead21. على الرغم من أننا لا نستطيع التقاط صور السيلفي معا للأسف، لبدء الهاشتاج التقطي لقطة شاشة أي سكرين شوت أو صورة ذاتية أي سيلفي وانشريها على وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي الخاصة بك.
The official hashtag for the summit is hashtag girlslead21. Although we can't take selfies together, to kick off the hashtag, take a screenshot or selfie and post it on your social media.
مع ذلك نحن متحمسون جدا لبدء برامجنا مع إحدى بطلاتنا. الشخص الذي يأتي إلى المسرح اليوم يلخص ما يعنيه التغلب على العوائق لتحقيق أحلامك. يرجى الترحيب بسفيرة النوايا الحسنة لل UNHCR مايا غزال.
With that, we are so excited to be kicking off our programming with one of our girl heroes. The person coming to the stage today epitomizes what it means to overcome barriers to achieve your dreams. Please welcome UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador, Maya Ghazal.
My name is Maya Ghazal. I'm a 22-year-old woman, and I'm a former refugee from Syria living in the UK. I'm studying aviation engineering with pilot studies at university, and I'm also proud to be a Goodwill Ambassador for UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency. I'm delighted to be speaking to you today, and I want to thank Girl Up for giving me the platform to share my story and talk about my life experiences. Before the conflict in Syria, I had a very normal life. But at the age of 12, when the war broke out, everything changed. Slowly at first, but then things became increasingly dangerous and increasingly unpredicted. Accessing school was often very dangerous, and I actually had to change school several times in order to avoid checkpoints, bombings, and violence. But despite all of these challenges and sometimes having to miss school days, I still kept my education. In many ways, I actually consider myself one of the lucky ones. Out of the millions of people around the world who have been forced to flee violence and war, when I left Syria with my mother and brothers, we were reunited with my father here in the UK as part of a family reunion scheme. That means I didn't have to take a dangerous journey to find peace. It meant that I could access one of the few safe and legal pathways to escape the conflict. I could get on a plane and fly to a country of safety. But though traveling to the UK was a safe route for me, the real challenge of my journey began when I arrived. When I arrived in the UK, I was 16 years old and I didn't speak the language. But I was excited to start school immediately, meet people and make friends. But things didn't pan out like that. I was rejected from 3 schools as they had no idea how to treat my Syrian secondary education certificates. I was told I had no qualifications and therefore could not continue with my dreams. Sometimes the rejection came with a sympathetic letter, and sometimes it was plain spoken and harsh. I told them they should test me, test what I knew, but they were not willing to do so. I have never experienced torture, so I cannot tell you what that is like, and I can't claim that boredom is worse than anything else. But I can tell you that I was more frightened by the boredom and loneliness of being shut up at home all day, unable to learn in a British school, than by any other day I lived in Damascus when the bombs were raining down. Boredom crushes the soul. It was incredibly demoralizing, and my confidence took a real hit, but not my determination. From lockdowns in Syria to feeling isolated in the UK, I fought back the tears that would come daily, and I worked hard to teach myself English word by word and to fight for a place in school, which I eventually got. During my second year in college, when I was applying to universities, my mum and I were staying in a hotel by Heathrow Airport. I woke up, and from the big window screen I saw planes taking off and landing, and I was fascinated. I told my mum, "Mum, I'm gonna do aviation engineering." She gave me a look, then she laughed. But I couldn't let it go. 2 weeks after, I spoke to my mum's friend about it, and he cautioned me that just passing through security in an airport is difficult enough for Arabs, let alone becoming pilots. His words set me on fire. I wondered how many dreams were crushed just because of this kind of discouragement. It redoubled my passion. Not only did I want to study aviation because it fascinated me, but I wanted to prove people wrong. In my role as a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador, I use my voice to make the case for why we should be investing in the limitless potential of refugees. No one believed I would ever succeed in becoming a pilot because of my gender, my religion, and my refugee background. I tell my story as an example of how we can smash stereotypes about refugees being uneducated or women not being able to succeed in STEM careers. I want to prove the haters wrong and to inspire other refugees to stand up in themselves, believe in themselves and their abilities. It gives me enormous pleasure to say that in 2020, I fulfilled my dream in becoming the first ever female Syrian refugee pilot when I got my private pilot's license. I now aspire to be a commercial pilot, but I know I will continue to face hurdles on that journey. Some will say Arabs are unsafe to fly, and some won't like women at the controls. But I will be the same person just doing her job, flying an airplane, the same person who was once turned away and underestimated, who was once called an outsider, who was once looked upon as a burden, who no one believed in. Never give up and never be intimidated. Every single one of us has the power inside us to achieve the dreams we set ourselves, to challenge the stereotypes that are thrust upon us, and to stand together, united against discrimination.
How inspiring was Maya? I love hearing from champions who are showing us what it means to lead with courage and are pursuing their dreams.
كان ذلك قويا جدا. أحببت عزمها على التغلب على كل الصعاب وتحقيق أحلامها، بخاصة كيف عملت بجد للالتحاق بالمدرسة. والآن يسعدني أن أقدم لكم لوحة سماك داون للمساواة بين الجنسين والمرأة في الرياضة.
In this panel, you'll hear from former professional basketball player and sports journalist Natalie Mamo and WWE superstar Natalia Neidhart. I'm going to hand it over to the moderator, Lamia Butt.
I'm so excited to be here talking to WWE superstar Natalia Neidhart and WWE Now Nina host Natalie Mamo. My name is Lamia Butt. I am a Girl Up Teen advisor and the Middle East and North Africa regional leader. Let's start off with a few quick introductions. Natalia, we'll start with you, and then Natalie, you can go next.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to be part of Girl Up partnership with WWE. I am a third generation superstar in the WWE, and I am so honored and grateful to be a part of the WWE family for over a decade. So I've been lucky enough to do so many first ever moments in WWE, from the first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia to the first ever women's table match, first ever women's Royal Rumble, first ever women's Money in the Bank match. So many first evers, and women in WWE are continuing to break barriers every single week on WWE programming. So I've been with WWE for a long time. I was born and raised in a huge wrestling family, and this is in my blood, and I love what I do. And I also love inspiring young women all around the world to do what they want to do, live their dreams, and very much like we did in Saudi Arabia, open up doors that have never been opened before. And being able to lead the charge as a woman in the WWE doing that is such an honor.
Thank you so much. And like I said, I'm so excited to have you. Like the little me and the current me is fangirling so hard right now. And Natalie, if you could go ahead next and just introduce yourself.
Yeah, Lamia, well, I'm very happy to be here with you. Usually I'm the one who does the interviewing, but this time I'm with Maddie on this interview. So I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be part of this, especially that someone's doing this for the region. So it means a lot that finally something's going on for the region, someone's standing up for women. And to be able to be here to share my story, I didn't come to become a sports TV presenter out of nowhere. I was initially a basketball player, and it all started by being the first woman to ever present sports news in Lebanon and then in the Arab world. And then I became the first woman to ever win Sports Media Personality of the Year. So it all started 12 years ago out of just being a basketball player, and then it was a long journey until I reached here. And I'm just very proud that today I can share it with the WWE world by being part of it and part of this panel here today. So thank you so much again.
Again, that's so amazing to hear, women in MENA breaking the barriers and breaking the stereotypes, which is, what we are here to discuss. So I will begin with the questions. The first question is to you, Natalia, as a WWE superstar. I mean, you said yourself, you've been here for over a decade. You've been integral to the WWE community. So what got you, started with wrestling, and how has WWE supported your endeavors as a female athlete?
For me, being a part of WWE, it's something that's really in my blood. My family has been a part of WWE for, probably 50 plus years. So for me, it's in my blood. It's my family's passion. And then being the first female in the Hart family to represent my family in WWE and to compete in the ring. It's just been incredible. And WWE has been so supportive of me. They've been so supportive of my family, but I've really seen something incredible in the decade plus that I've been in WWE. I've seen this evolution of women in the sport. And, from 2008, when I first debuted on SmackDown, we've just seen so much growth for the women. And very much like Natalie was saying, just being part of many first evers, being able to break barriers for women. It's incredible to be able to do that and to do what I love at the same time. And this was once, WWE was once a very male dominated industry. Now we are just blazing the trail for women everywhere to want to pursue their dreams. And, for me, like I said, I was born and raised in it. So it's just been such a journey for me, but I love all of the growth that we've seen for women in the sport, including myself. And I want to continue to inspire women all over the world to keep reaching for their dreams, and that, as much as they've accomplished, we're still not done yet.
100%. And as a viewer myself, now WWE is at such an amazing point where women headline these main events, and it's considered normal. It's considered like the norm, which it should be. And you've been such an integral part towards that evolution. So thank you for, the efforts that you've put in, and the way WWE has supported you is so inspiring and amazing. Natalie, my question to you, I see that you have a lot of experience as a sports presenter. In the introduction itself, you mentioned about all the amazing things you've done and all the barriers that you've broken. Within the MENA region, and not just the MENA, internationally, sports presenters that are female make up the minority. In fact, only 13% of sports presenters are female. So I'm really curious, what got you into that industry? Was it because of your basketball career? And, what advice and tips do you have for someone else who might be watching right now, an audience member who wants to get into the same field? What advice would you have for them?
Well, honestly, I always say that I never chose this field. It actually chose me, because back when I was 13 years old, I was the first woman to join the national team at the age of 13. And that was a very big thing in the Arab world. So I always used to go up on TV as a guest to talk about this. And I grew up until I turned 21, when there was this new channel opening in Lebanon and telling me, we want you to be the first presenter to ever present sports, the first woman presenter. And it was very challenging for me because I didn't speak my own language very well. I grew up in a family where we spoke French more than Arabic. But then they're like, Nat, see, this is a man's world. And that was the worst thing you can tell an athlete, because it made me want to do it more than ever. And just like that, I just chose to go into this field without knowing how to do it at all. And I was actually the first woman to ever present sports in Lebanon. And within no time, there was every channel in the country who wanted to recruit a woman, and it just started growing in the region until I moved to Dubai, and then I became the first Arab woman to host the Globe Soccer Awards, and then the first Arab woman to even talk about WWE in the region, and then winning the Sports Media Personality of the Year. So for me, when you say 13%, that's improvement. That's amazing, because back when I started, it was maybe 1 or 2. So 13% is already really good, and we're on the right track, because when our voice, like when you talk about sports here in the region, you are directly thought of as not credible enough. So you had to prove your credibility on the spot. And to me today, I don't think there's anything called it's a man's world. There's a world, and it's what you do out of it. And if it is a man's world, then go ahead and change it.
That's absolutely amazing to hear, because myself, born and raised in the region, it was so rare, like maybe when I was a kid, to see women presenting and women being in sports, whether that was WWE or even cricket or soccer or whatever it is. And it's amazing to see how far we've come. And I definitely agree with you that 13% is definitely a great start. It's a great way we have moved forward, and there's so much more that we have to do. Now my next question is to the both of you, so feel free to chime in. Women in, as we mentioned, as we discussed before with Natalie, women in the MENA region are definitely finding themselves more involved in sports presenting, etc. However, it's still a fact that, girls at an adolescent age are twice as more likely to drop out of sports than boys are. I want to ask the both of you, in the vast career and experience that you have, could you tell us about what leadership skills you've learned from the sports that you've played, and from the sports events that you've covered, and how have you carried them throughout your career, and what do you still apply today as you move on and keep trailblazing?
I think for me, one of the biggest things that I mean, even now that I'm, very established in WWE and in sports, one thing I really keep close to my heart is a really strong support system at home, and a strong support system in WWE. Our women's locker room is a testament to that. We have, even though we compete against each other in the ring, we're very supportive of each other in the locker room. And when you surround yourself with great people, especially great women who share your same passion and your same dreams, it really, really makes a difference. It gives you confidence. And I think that's one of the key elements that keeps women, especially young women, involved in the game that they're playing, whether it be basketball or wrestling or soccer or gymnastics, whatever it may be, is surrounding yourself with an incredible support system of women that lift you up. And it doesn't have to be a lot of people, but just having a good circle of people that encourage you. And you can take those leadership skills that you learn from all sorts of different women that you work with, and you can transfer it to your own work. An example of this is, for me, in the SmackDown women's locker room, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Carmella, Tamina, to name a few, Bianca Belair, we all of the women in the locker room, we just have such a strong work ethic, and we're always lifting each other up. And we all notice when somebody else needs a little extra help or a little extra support, or somebody's going through something, especially after this last 16 months. Everybody, not just women, but everybody around the world has gone through so much. So, you know, when you can lean on people and you can surround yourself with great people, especially great women, and the great women of our locker room in WWE, it really, really helps keep you focused and keep your eye on the prize.
That's amazing. And Natalie, what about you?
Well, I totally agree with Natty. The support system is something very important. The role of parents also. And when I talk about people here in the region, because sometimes not everybody is supportive of a woman into sports. And this is starting to change, thank God. But it's so hard to be able to continue to pursue something when you don't have the support of your family or the parents, or at least someone has to be behind you. But talking about leadership skills that you take in life, I believe like everything you become as a person in the future, you're shaped up by what you learn on court personally, or whether in the ring, because the discipline, the determination, the sacrifice, the compromise, it requires a lot of no's in life to be able to make it. So people would choose to drop out earlier because you'll have to say no to a lot of things, no to a lot of things, just because you have to stay there, focus, practice. And it's only like you start out with a big group and it's only few that will make it out there. So, but I believe everything I've become is because of everything I've learned on court. And it doesn't require you to have trophies or medals to be a champion in life. So there's so much that you can do as an athlete. If you apply them as a person, then it's just take you so far. And that's why I push every human being to just do sports. And just like, as a parent, there's no way I wouldn't push my kids or my daughters to just be in there, anything they like, but just talk the sports language, because it's a language that I believe can just change the world and unify nations sometimes.
100% agree with the both of you. You know, with what Natalia said about the support system, as viewers ourselves, we also see, you know, off the ring, how actually united all the women superstars are, because, you know, at the end of the day, you are in it together. And with what Natalie said about, you know, making sure that the environment that we are in is also very supportive, you know, especially parents, and, you know, because they want the best for us. And when they're exposed to something new, they may have their reservations, but we are so lucky to have the both of you as, you know, role models and examples to help us continue pursuing what we want to. That brings me to my next question about encouragement. You know, why do you think it is important that we continue to encourage girls to play sports? And what are the, you know, policies or actions that communities can take to support girls that are playing sports in MENA or taking unconventional paths when it comes to their careers?
I think sports are so important for, especially for our youth. There's so many young women that I know and work with, especially in WWE, that I can just see how much sports have changed their confidence. Sports can change your self-worth and the way you feel about yourself. Competing in sports gives you purpose. It gives you a reason to get excited about something and to work towards something, to have goals and focus and drive and determination. And I think that's, you know, really something that I've learned in the WWE. And when you have something to work towards, whether it's trying to qualify for Money in the Bank, which is coming up actually for WWE, or, you know, being one of the longest lasting women in the Women's Royal Rumble, which I was, or, you know, us fighting tooth and nail to main event WrestleMania, which now the WWE women have done 2 times, not just once, but twice. And, you know, there's just so many great reasons to compete in sports that build confidence. And women that have confidence are women that take on the roles of leaders, and women that are leaders change the world.
No, I 100% agree with you. Firstly, Royal Rumble requires like a perseverance of its own, because it just seems so difficult, and seeing the way how amazingly you you know, you all really put in that effort, it's really commendable. And like you said, confidence is so important, and sports really does promote that. You know, Natalie, what do you think? You know, why do you think it's important? And I'm sure, you know, like you said, when you were starting off, you didn't have a lot of women in the presenting world to look up to. So how important do you think now it is, for us to get more girls, encourage more people into the field that you are in?
Yeah, actually, when I started presenting, there was not so many women in presenting, but there was not also a lot of women in sports. And now we're on the right track. This is changing. We saw the first ever women's league happening in women's basketball league happening in Saudi, the first ever football league, the first ever women's match. And I was there when Nati faced Lacey Evans. And when I saw the reaction in that huge stadium, and when the slogan "This is hope" was just like being chanted all over, that's something for me. Before being a presenter, as an athlete, just makes me have goosebumps. I'd be just so happy because I wish this happened before, but it's not too late. So I'm just happy that change is happening, because a lot of more investments are happening into women's sports, a lot of more like acknowledgement that we have to empower women in the region, and especially in sports, because Arabs have been through a lot, and the fighting spirits in those women is so strong that will make them capable to achieve so much if they have the right training out there, the right the tools, the trainers, the fields. And thank God this is changing, and it started within seeing a lot of women accomplishments from the Arab world happening at the Olympics, to seeing more sports presenters and achievements. So I'm happy to see change happening. There's so much more to do, but we're definitely on the right track in the Arab world.
Thank you so much once again to the both of you. It's been such an honor. It's been such a privilege to speak to the both of you. And this is a conversation I'm always going to remember and be starstruck by forever. And now, if there's nothing else to add, I hand it over to our MCs, Anushka and Joanna.
أهلا بكم من جديد. رائع. ناتالي وناتاليا هما بطلاتي في الرياضة. لقد أحببت وجهة نظر ناتاليا أنه من خلال الحفاظ على نظام دعم قوي من حولك سيدفعك ويبني ثقتك بنفسك. إنه شرف لي أن أقدم محادثتنا الأولى Youth for Change، لأن النشاط يبدأ معك. تناقش النشطة الشبابية في مجالات العلوم والتكنولوجيا والهندسة والرياضيات أي STEM، والفائزة بمسابقة الجينات في الفضاء الإماراتية علياء المنصوري سبب أهمية صوت الشباب في النشاط. عندما ينهض الشباب يمكن أن تحدث أشياء مذهلة. مع وجود 1.8 مليار شخص تتراوح أعمارهم بين 10 و24 عاما، فإن هذا الجيل لديه الفرصة لإحداث تغيير دائم. أنا متحمسة لرؤية المزيد من الناشطين الشباب في وسائل الإعلام وفي الأحداث مثل هذا الحدث. أصوات الشباب مهمة لأن القرارات والسياسات المتخذة اليوم ستؤثر علينا بشكل مباشر في المستقبل لأننا نرثه. أتمنى أن تستمتعوا بهذه المحادثة باللغة العربية، ويرجى الملاحظة أنه إذا كنتم بحاجة إلى ترجمة هذه إلى اللغة الإنجليزية أو أي لغة أخرى يمكنكم النقر فوق زر تسمية توضيحية مغلقة أسفل هذه الشاشة. I hope you enjoyed this conversation in Arabic, and please note that if you need this translated to English or any other language, you can click the closed caption button below the screen. بدون المزيد من اللغط الرجاء مساعدتي في الترحيب بمسيرة الجلسة رانيا حرربحو والمتحدثة الشابة علياء المنصوري.
شكرا جزيلا عن التقديم. اسمي رانيا حرارة، وأناضل من أجل تحقيق المساواة بين الجنسين في المجال الرياضي. أنا سعيدة جدا بمشاركتي في قمة Girl Up للقيادة، لأنها أتاحت إلي الفرصة للتعرف عن عدة قائدات اللواتي يكافحن من أجل تحقيق المساواة بين الرجال والنساء. ومن بين هؤلاء الرائدات توجد عليا المنصوري التي أبهرت العالم بأكمله بصغر سنها وبكبر إنجازاتها. شكرا جزيلا عليا عن قبولك لدعوتنا.
السلام عليكم، شكرا على الدعوة. أنا جدا سعيدة أني في هذا المؤتمر.
هل يمكنك أن تعرفي بنفسك عن الناس الذين يشاهدوننا والذين لا يعلمون عنك شيئا؟
نعم، أنا علياء المنصوري من دولة الإمارات، عمري 18 سنة، وأنا عالمة في مجال الأحياء والفضاء. قبل 3 سنين تقريبا فزت جائزة اسمها جينات في الفضاء، وأرسلت مشروعي لمحطة الفضاء الدولية. من هذا اليوم بديت إني أشتغل على مشاريع زيادة وأكمل في مجال الأحياء.
يمكننا أن نرى بما قلته أن في عمر 18 فقط لديك مسار يبهر العديد من الناس ويبهر الراشدين. فقد ساعدت في إطلاق رواد الفضاء الإماراتيين، وكنت أصغر شخص تم تعيينه للمشاركة في البحث العلمي بجامعة NYU أبو ظبي. فكنت أتساءل هل واجهت بعض الصعوبات بسبب سنك وجنسك في هذا المجال، وماذا كانت ماذا كان رد فعلك أمام هذه الصعوبات؟
نعم، دائما الصعوبات تتواجد في كل الأوضاع في الحياة. لو كنت في المدرسة أو كنت مع أصدقائي الصعوبات بتكون متواجدة. فالواحد لازم يتعلم كيف يتغلب على هذه الصعوبات. لأني أنا بنت مثلا وفي هذا السن في الإمارات دولة عربية مسلمة، مرات صعب أني أنا أوصل للباحثين والعالمين. ولكن في مجال العلوم الشيء اللي يتميز فيه أنه ما يكون فيه من بين الجنسين أو من بين أي شيء تميز. الواحد يوم يشتغل يحصل اللي بيشتغل عليه. فأنا جدا سعيدة أني قدرت أوصل لهذا الشيء بتعبي وبشغلي أنا، وقدرت أني يعني هالصعوبات اللي واجهتها أني أتغلب عليها.
أتفق معك، لأننا نعلم أن العالم العربي هو عالم هو مجتمع ذكوري، نعلم ذلك، وأنا جد سعيدة لأنك تمكنت من تحقيق كل هذه الأشياء في هذا المجال. وكنت أريد أن أعلم بكونك ناشطة شابة في مجال الهندسة الرياضيات التكنولوجيا الذي هو معروف بالستم، هل لديك رسالة؟ هل تظنين أن صوت الشباب مهم في هذه المجالات؟ وكيف يمكن للشباب أن يوصلوا رسالتهم للعالم في هذا المجال؟
نعم، الشباب لهم دور كبير في مجال العلوم. دائما مجال العلوم ما يبدأ بس من الشخص اللي عمره 70 سنة مخلص PhD ومتخرج، لا، يبدأ من أصغر شخص يسأل سؤال. فكل شخص له دور مؤثر في هذا المجال ويقدر أن يحقق التغيير في المجتمع نفسه. لو كشخص أنت حسيتي أن في مثلا شيء في المجتمع مشكلة يا إما صحية أو تكنولوجية، تحسين أنه لازم تتغير، أنت لازم تبدين بهذا التغير.
أتفق معك، لأننا نحن مستقبل هذه الدول. نحن عندنا القوة، ونحن أمل هذه المجتمعات. فعلينا أن نقوم بتغيير مجتمعاتنا ونقدمها إلى الأمام، لأننا نحن مستقبل هذه الدول، ونحن مثيرين هذه الدول في المستقبل. فكنت كما تعلمين تمثل النساء أقل من 28% من الباحثات، وأقل من 3% من الناس، من الباحثين الذين فازوا بجائزة نوبل. ونود أن نرى إن شاء الله اسمك في لائحة فائزين بجائزة نوبل. وكنت أريد أن أعلم هل لديك أي رسالة تريدين أن توجهيها لكل بنت تريد أن تبدأ في هذا المجال ولكن تخاف من المجتمع العربي الذي نعيش فيه كبنات، وأيضا بصغر سنهم؟
نعم، السبب الوحيد لهذه النسبة الصغيرة مو لأن البنت ما تقدر، السبب لأن المجتمع ما كان يخليها أن تبرز أفكارها وتبرز اختراعاتها. فمعظم الأفكار والاختراعات اللي طلعت أصلاً في هذه الوقت كانت من البنات اللي في المجتمع، ولكن الشخص مثلاً سرق هذه الفكرة أو خذاها. فأنت كأي بنت في العالم تقدرين أنك تحققين أي حلم. هذا الشيء مو مستحيل، وبنات قبلنا حققوا هذا الحلم وما قدروا أن يوصلون لدرجة أن شخص يقدر يحفزهم على هذا الحلم. نحن نقدر الحين معنا مجتمع يضمنا ويحفزنا، ومجتمع من البنات مثل Girl Up. وأنا أكيد دائما بكون أشجعكم على هذا الشيء، و you can do it. أي حلم عندكم إياه you can do it.
Yes, girls can lead. Thank you so much عليا. شكرا لك عن المشاركة معنا في هذه القمة، وشكرا لك عن مشاركة قصتك وكل إنجازاتك معنا. لذلك أريد أن أرد الكلمة إلى جوانا التي هي ستتمم هذه conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, عليا.
What a powerful discussion. All the things Alia has accomplished at such a young age is so inspiring to me. According to new data, more women entered STEM over the past 40 years than any other field, but only 27% of the STEM workforce are females. Research has shown that women are far less likely to graduate with a STEM degree or enter a career in STEM compared to their male counterparts. Women of color are even less likely to find the encouragement they need to pursue STEM careers. I'm interested to know how many of you want to go into STEM. Let me know in the chat if you are currently majoring in a STEM field or want to go into STEM. Our next guest is a STEM powerhouse. She is an aircraft engineer and aviation consultant in the UAE, and we can't wait to dive into this conversation. Please welcome Dr. Suad Al-Shamsi and our moderator, Muskan Tukral.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I am so thrilled to be here this evening in conversation with aircraft engineer and aviation consultant, Dr. Suad Al-Shamsi. I am Muskan, the president of Club Girl Up Hiba and a grade 12 student hoping to major in biomedical engineering. I am so excited to be here in conversation with Dr. Suad and to look forward and learn about what it's actually like to be a woman in STEM. Dr. Suad, I would request you to please introduce yourself.
It's my pleasure being with among, mashallah, a lot of girls. I'm really proud of them. And Girl Up, I wish with my age time, we have the same platform, which is that a really great platform for a lot of girls to learn from and knowledgeable. And I see the passion in their voice. My name is Dr. Engineer Suad Sultan Shamsi. I am the first female aircraft engineer in United Arab Emirates and the Gulf country. I've been in aviation industry more than 20 years, having a PhD in aeronautical engineering and as well PhD in aviation management. So my whole career, it was in the field of monopoly by a man. And people think like women cannot be, why you go to the maintenance side, aeronautical. And actually it's my passion to be in this field and change the mentality of the woman cannot enter to a field like the aviation as well as the aeronautical engineering.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suad Al-Shamsi. That is so impressive. You defied the odds when you became the first Emirati woman to work as an aviation engineer. So the ages of 14 to 16 are majorly the ages when you start thinking about what career you want to pursue. Even though when you were 14, 16, you did not see women in this role. What inspired you to become an aircraft engineer?
Actually, it started from very young. When I started playing with the toy of aircraft and cars, I know I want something in mechanical side. But when I see the airplane, it was more passion about it. I want to understand about it more. So slowly, year after year, I know that this is the career I want to be there. Whenever I search about it, I find that very rarely we find a woman there. It's always say, no, you cannot be in the aviation industry because you are a woman, you are from Arab country, you are. And I was wondering why the rejection. As much I get rejection, it's make me fight to be in this industry. So when I reached to age of 16, I announced to everyone that that's it. I want to be an aircraft engineer. And as you said, it's nothing university except women to be in aeronautical. So I have to find my path, my way, and fight more harder to enter to this field, which is that when we are looking now, after more than 21 years, yes, we have a number of women and girls in this industry, but still the percentage is very low, and we wish to have more girls in this field.
Wow, I mean, that truly shows the power of determination and hard work. You were so dedicated to your goal, so you reached here. Like you rightly said, there's very less women in this industry, in this male-dominated field. So what challenges did you face when you first entered this industry, and how did you make sure that your voice is actually heard?
You know, the first challenges is that me or any woman in the aviation, as a pilot, as an aircraft engineer, medical aviation, always we are getting the first negative question, why you want to be in this field? This is a male dominance. You cannot. It's only, and I always answer them, there are nothing dictionaries say that this field only for men. Nothing, any policy, nothing, any rules, nothing thing to stop us to be in this industry. So I always challenge them. If there any dictionary, there any rule, any policy say that, show it to us. And always they shut their mouth, they said, oh, then this is the power should be. We will face a lot of challenges like this education side, the knowledge. When you are studying, usually you find one girl in a face with 10 men. So always you face that the environment is different. The education side, the knowledge, you have to go and knock the door and look for an answer. You look for a moderator, someone to help you. And always we find that the number of women in this field is very low, which is that we need to support each other. We need to connect with each other. For that, we launched our non-profit organization called Women in Aviation, the chapter in Middle East, which we try to support not only Arab women, even the expat, where they can continue in the field or they want to enter to the field. And I think the most challenges any woman in the aviation, they are always facing that they don't get the support. So always they feel, I find negative background. I feel that I'm only alone in this field. And usually they don't communicate with each other. They don't connect to each other. So we try from our platform and try from my social media to connect with them and show them that you can pass those challenges. That challenges is only in education. Then when you enter the field, it's different and you are not alone as a woman there.
Wow, like you rightly said, there is nothing a girl can't do. But it's so sad that most of us are made to feel that way. And you truly demonstrate your commitment to leave a mark, not just for yourself, but for girls behind you. It is so important to be truthful to yourself and your dream, which you truly did. Not every day is the brightest. You must have some hard days as well. How do you stay motivated when you face these setbacks, and like what support systems do you have around you?
My support system is starting from my heart. I always say, connect your mind, your heart, and your body. And when you connect all three of them, you will get the more positive energy vibes and make you motivated. Surround yourself what you love. Is it coffee? Is it animal? Is it your family? Is it your friend? Your book? Try your best and always say it's just a small piece of negativity. A small thing, it might fill me down, make me think about my decision. Is it correct or is it wrong? And a small thing beside a lot of things. If you are passionate about your career, not only in aviation, any career in your life, don't let people to pull you down, because as much you succeed, as much you find people will try to pull you down. And I always think, only because of we are women, and always think, okay, the question come more and more. And for me, I support myself with my family, with my kids, with my book, and I try to avoid any negativity. I block it and I continue. This is motivate me to continue. And I know always I try to encourage myself that I'm in the correct way, I'm in the correct path, I'm in correct major, and I succeed, which is that I'm still continuing in this field more than 20 years. I can continue more and support the girl, because as much I support the other and I get the good message, good letter, and I get the feedback from them, it's give me the motivating to continue and support more girls to enter to the field.
Yes, that truly resonates. Like small day-to-day activities and changes, they bring about so much positivity in our day.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suad. It has been an
Thanks a
absolute
lot.
honor listening to you. My biggest takeaway from this is to not lose hope and never feel deprived of any opportunity just because of your gender. Where there is a will, there is a way. Just like Dr. Suad, with the right amount of perseverance, we can do it too. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
I would pass back the spotlight to Anushka and Joanna now.
Thank you to Dr. Swad Al-Shamsi and Muskan. What really resonated with me was Dr. Al-Shamsi's passion to support women in STEM and how hard she fought to pursue the field of her choice and defy stereotypical norms.
على الإطلاق لقد ذكرتني حقا بمدى ارتباط النشاط بالعلوم والتكنولوجيا والهندسة والرياضيات ارتباطا وثيقا. بعد ذلك لدينا آخر محادثة لنا، كسر حواجز العمل من خلال الجمال مع الجامي غزالي.
Have you ever been curious about how to start your own business or what an entrepreneur does? Well, in this upcoming conversation, you're going to find out. At the age of 28 years old, Al-Jami had already established 3 businesses in the UAE. Talk about girl boss.
الرجاء مساعدتنا في الترحيب الحار بالجامي غزالي ومديرة الجلسة مروة أمازيان.
Hello everyone. Hello. Thank you so much Anushka and thank you so much Joanna. My name is Marwa Amzian and I'm here to interview Al-Jami, the beautiful beauty influencer. Thank you so much for the organizer for this beautiful work. My name is Marwa Amzian. I'm a multi-award winner. I work with everything that has to do with youth empowerment and women empowerment as well. And I'm also very passionate about sustainable development and sustainable development goals. So Al-Jami, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Al-Jami Ghazali. I'm the owner of Glam Jam Companies and award-winning blogger. So I'm very happy to be a part of this. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
It's our pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you as a successful entrepreneur. You've started 3 businesses in the Emirates and you are founder of the Glam Jam Foundation, so companies. So I just want to know, did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur, or were you ever scared to pursue your dreams as a female business owner?
Well, to be honest, I was never really afraid of doing whatever I'm doing right now. Of course, at times it gets a little bit scary when you grow on a scale that maybe you weren't expecting, but I always knew that I wanted to turn my blogging career into something bigger, because the way how I was always looking at it is that if one day social media is going to stop and no one is watching Instagram, what am I going to do? So I always wanted to turn Al-Jami and my name into a brand that is going to benefit women, not just in a way that they will just look at me through their social media platforms and get to know maybe some beauty tips, but also I wanted to offer them something more and bigger and something that will improve their life. So I kind of always knew that I'm gonna definitely launch something.
That's really amazing. Being a businesswoman is all about taking a risk and believing in yourself and having that confidence. So this is just a shout out to our girls. If you have a dream, just go for it. So what has been the hardest thing? I'm sure it was not an easy path, about starting your business. And for example, when you face setbacks, how do you handle them?
Well, I take it in a way that every failure is a lesson. So every time if something would not go the way how I was expecting it is, and if something fails, or whatever, I always try to look at it in a perspective of what I can learn from this situation. Maybe the next time I can be more careful. Maybe the next time I need to be more detailed. So every setback is a little test I think for all of us, if any of us face setbacks, it's just a little test of how you nurture and teach yourself to go through these situations. So in my way, when it comes to me and my setbacks, I always try to learn something new out of every negative situation. I try to turn it into a positive and see what I can do better the next time.
That's really amazing. That's a good one. Whenever you have setbacks or challenges, always learn from them. Which brings me to my next question. Like, what is one piece of advice that you would give to young women who wants to be entrepreneurs, or they want to go to that business road?
Well, the one piece of advice that I have for any young women who are planning to be entrepreneurs is to not doubt yourself and not to overthink it, because us as women, we always tend to overthink every little situation. And especially when it comes to a big decision like this, such as launching your own business and kind of going into this ocean with all the sharks. It's just about not really being afraid and listening to your gut. The one power that I think most of the women have, all the women, is that we have a gut, our sixth sense that will always tell us if this is the right thing to do. So the one thing that I always want to say is that, and want to advise, is that put aside whatever you see on social media, because not everything that you see on it is the truth. Maybe the one person that you'll see that is having like this huge business and they're so glam and they're living life and they're on vacation. You don't see the other side of it. So put that aside. Don't think about it. Don't compare yourself to anyone. Just focus on you and have a clear plan, clear vision of what it is that you want to do, and just go for it.
That's really good as a piece of advice. I'm like a huge your beauty products and your beauty blog especially. And since we have you on and we have the pleasure to interview, since most of us are businesswomen, we are very, very busy with life. What are the beauty tips that you can give us?
Well, the little beauty tips I'll give you is, I think a lot comes, so I know a lot of girls always want to spend a lot on makeup, but actually the real deal is about the skincare. So always invest more into your skincare and take care of your skin, because if your skin looks good, your makeup will look good. And another thing is, also understand that everything that shows up on your skin might come also from the inside. So it's very important to also take care of your nutrition.
That's really amazing. So thank you so much, Eljami. What we learned from so far, girls, is that first, that we need to learn from the challenges and the problems that we have. There are always lessons. We always have to listen to our gut. The sixth thing that we have.
Absolutely.
It helps us a lot. And also when it comes to beauty tips, we have to take care of our skin in order for it to be glowy. So thank you so much, Eljami.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure as well. I'm sure you inspired a lot of these girls who once inspired to be entrepreneurs. So I hope it is the case. Thank you so much. And I'm going to give it back to Anushka and Joanna.
Bye.
Wow. Raise your hand if you were inspired by this fireside chat.
شعرت بالإلهام وأحببته عندما تحدثت الجامعة عن كيف هي أرادت أن تقوم بشيء يفيد جميع الفتيات، بالأخص وأنا مشجعة كبيرة للميك اب وأحب السكين كير كثيرا. يسعدنا أن نعلم عن ضيفتنا الأخيرة. أنوشكا، هل تريدين أن تعلمي من هي؟
Yes, our final guest needs no introduction and is a 15-year-old Emirati R&B singer and performer who recently signed with Universal. Please join me in welcoming Alia Al-Ali for a final performance.
Hi everyone, my name is Alia and I'm an Emirati singer, and I'm so excited to be a part of this Girl Up Summit, and I'm going to sing 2 songs for you tonight. The first song I'm going to be singing is my new single, Where Were You? You call me crazy, you call me cold, a stupid boy. The way you play me, I'm stuck, I'm lost, I don't know where I've gone wrong. My heart's still here for you, but my head's saying I'm not the one for you. Baby, you're on my mind, I think about you all the time, even though you lie. I know you ain't right. be singing is Rise Up by Andrea, and I hope you enjoy it. You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see you. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, when the silence isn't quiet, it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, Thank you.
هذه الأغنية ستظل عالقة في رأسي طوال المساء، ولكن بأفضل طريقة ممكنة. يا لها من طريقة رائعة لاغتمام قمتنا. لقد كنت بالفعل من أشد المعجبين بعلياء، ولكني أصبحت معجبة أكثر الآن.
That was so amazing. Like Joanna said, that performance wrapped up our Girl Up World Tour MENA Summit. I don't know about you, but that hour flew by. Don't forget to join the next World Tour Asia and Oceania Summit tomorrow, and our Global Leadership Summit on July 13th. Go to girlup.org for more information and to register.
نعم بالفعل، لكن الإلهام لا يجب أن يتوقف هنا. إذا كنتم قد أحببتم هذه القمة التي استمرت ساعة فقط، فلا تنسون العودة إلى عالمنا المتغير طوال اليوم في قمة قيادة الفتيات التي تستمر طوال اليوم بدءا من الساعة 8 صباحا بتوقيت شرق الولايات المتحدة ب 13 تموز أي 13 يوليو. ابحثوا عن جدول القمة والتسجيل في girlup.org/summit.
If you are interested in learning more about Girl Up or joining a Girl Up club near you, please visit girlup.org/community. We have 4,500 clubs in 125 countries and would love for you to join our movement in the fight for gender equality.
تأكدوا من اطلاعكم على الأندية القريبة منكم، وشكرا لكم جميعا على قمة رائعة.
Have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you on July 13th.